Alright, this video is a little bit different than the previous one I made. So for this time I just show you some pictures and what I did with my seats. As you know, I had the normal bucket seats in my kit, so the standard gray interior had these seats with the adjustable headrests, and I stumbled across these seat covers. I think they were a little bit discounted at Hawk's 3rd gen, something like that. So I thought it might be a good idea to buy this one. Because I always liked the color black-gray color combination. So as previously in my other video stated, I wanted to do the interior a little bit different. So that's the story of my seats, and I tell you as good as possible how I converted my normal seats into these PMD seats. So first you see the overall look of the content which was in the package from Hawk's 3rd gen. So you have inside for the front seats, left and right, the seat covers for the bottom part of the seats. This one here. These ones are for the back seat, and this is for the back seat as well. So you have a little bit more material here to make some covers or whatever you need to finish up the seats at the end. So that's another angle. That's another angle. Now you can see the material is actually pretty nice, and yeah, I like it. I like it very much how it turned out. So these were my seats before I converted them. So that's a picture of my car. So I started to remove the seats. So everyone who has a Firebird or Trans Am knows how to remove it. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. So you have to remove the screws down here, so then you can take it out. So then I removed the back plate or the back side of the seats. I started to undo these hooks, so all of them had to be cutted so that I was able to remove the old seat cover. So you have you have these ones inside the package. They come as accessories, so if you buy them online, be sure that you have these ones here included. Or if you have them included, I suggest that you buy another package of them additional to the ones who are included, because you need a lot of them. So after I removed all of the old cover, you see down here you have these grooves here. So basically the back seats were the easy part of this whole thing, because for the back seats I was able to just remove the old cover and the clamps, and then put on the new cover and fixed it at the same way. They were basically the same. So for the back seats it was no big deal at all. So you see, that's the old cover, that's the new one. So the new one was spot on. You could put it on, and I had to use this tool to fix or to clamp down these metal brackets, these metal pieces. So that was the easy part actually. So you see here these grooves, actually you have to it's a little bit tricky to put it in these grooves, and you have to hold it with one hand and put these rings with the tool inside while you're holding it down. So basically down here there is a like a rod, a wooden rod melted in, or yeah, they put it in while they're doing the foam stuff, so they can like hug one part of these clamps is going through the through this part over here of the new cover. Basically they have a plastic, like a plastic rod inside, so you have to be careful that you stick the clamp through the correct side, and you just hold it down into this groove and clamp all together. So that was a little bit the tricky part actually. So now we are starting with the front seats, and the front seat is a whole other story. So as you see, the foam and all that stuff wasn't correct for the PMD seats. So I had to mark where I have to cut them. So I had to cut them down here and had to insert some wire and drills. I had to drill some holes from the back side, from the back cover, so that I can fix or let's say put in or fix or mount the wire so that it don't comes out. So it's a little bit difficult to explain all that progress, all that stuff, but you can see here what I did. So I had to mark, make some lines, and then cut down with a knife to get these grooves here. So to remove the headrest from the seats here was actually a little bit difficult, because you can't just slide the headrest out of this piece here. So I had to guide down a flat piece of metal behind the metal bracket who was inside. So I was able to slide it out, so it's locked in place with a clamp or something like that. So you have to insert behind the headrest, you have to insert a small or flat metal piece to unlock this clamp, so you can slide it out. So I nearly destroyed one of these seats because I didn't knew that I had to remove it like this. So now you can see that I've made a plan how the headrest of the PMD seats should be. So I made first I made it on cardboard so that you can see how it's supposed to be. So this is the upper part of the seat. So the PMD seats are just a little bit longer here, and they are going up here like this. So I just made a rough drawing of what it's supposed to look like. So then I had to cut down a little bit of the foam, because I had to get free these mounting points to the metal brackets of the seat. So the foam is mounted onto this metal piece here. So I had to cut it down, and these were the touch points, or the points where I wanted to mount the like a bracket for the headrest. So I made one of these brackets with some, what was it, like some metal pieces I had lying around, so that wasn't a permanent solution. So this was just a way to see how everything fits together. So I was able to put on the seat cover and see if I had the correct measurements, because I didn't have any measurements at all from original PMD seats. I wasn't able to get them. So my friend Motor Scotty helped me out, but he didn't have the original PMDs as well, so he had the replicas, and my seat covers were made for original original seats. So the measurements were helpful, but not 100% correct for these seat covers. So I test fitted all, and I had to glue down some more of the seat foam. So they have a little bit more material down here and on the sides here. So I had to glue down some more material so that that it gets a little bit more like pumped up, or whatever you want to say to that. So you can see here my writing. Of course it's in German, but that's just the place where I had to make the grooves, cut down the grooves and put in some wire to get the mounting points. You can see here how I built up the foam. And then I had to make some other measurements. So this is the material I used. So I just went shopping in Home Depot, and I bought some foam. So these aren't that expensive actually. So then you have to buy some glue to glue it down to the seat, the existing seat foam. It was not that easy to work with, because it's difficult to cut it down to the correct measurements. So usually you use like something of like hot wire or something like that to cut down things like this. I had my scissors here, or the knife up here, the yellow one. And that's the lower part of one of the front seats. You can see these lines here, they are not straight. I already mounted it or clamped it down, but at the beginning they were not that straight, because they were still a little bit not straightened out, because they from shipping they had a little bit curves in it. So it was no big deal. I had to use some hot air, and then they were straight again. So it wasn't a big deal actually. So you see here, I had to insert here a little bit more foam, because actually there are two different seats, these gray bucket seats I told before. So the base of this one, there are two different ones. One of them are just the flat ones like I had, and a little bit later on they had the lower part of the seat was actually more like the one from the PMD seats actually. So I had the one who was more difficult to build up, because the other ones were like you had to remove the old cover like the back seats and put on a new one, so they were a little bit easier. So that's how my car looked with the back seats installed. So that's just a little gap, a little jump ahead. So I had to go to a metal workshop in town to tell them what I want to have with these brackets for the headrests. So they didn't want to put it on with a lot of heat. So because they thought maybe the foam will catch fire, so they mounted it a little bit different. So they put it in some of these there are not screws, like there are some, I don't know how to call them in English, so but they mounted in, they fixed it down and they put in some material so it wouldn't move an inch. You see here how it's mounted on this side and on this side as well. They're actually laser cutted, so they are 100% accurate. So, but they made it according to my measurements. So these are not the measurements of normal PMD seats. So I was afraid that the gap between here is a little bit too small. So actually, if you look at my seats, the gap here isn't that big like you have on normal seats. So that's a thing which is a little bit different. So also I had I let them make some back covers, because the normal seats didn't have any back covers because they were just closed at the back side with the material, so with the covers. So these are laser cutted as well, so I was able to just clamp them down and make some holes and put in some metal screws. So you see here how it looks. So that's with the cover on. So you see right now I didn't fix it, so I just was able to put it on to see if the angle is correct. So that's how it looked like. And this is how the back cover looks like. So I had to get some spray glue and I sprayed it down here and put on the material, the additional material they put into the package. I was pretty happy that they put in some additional material, so I didn't have to order this as well. So that's the material I had to put in to the headrests. So I put on this seat cover, and then I was able to slide in the foam piece into it. So it's actually not glued down or fixed or something like that. It's just slided in between the seat cover and the metal bracket. So, and it's still holding, so, and it's still fine. So I don't have to bother with gluing it down, because it's that would be a little bit too difficult. See here how I actually look like green telephones or something like that. So I just had to cut out the second one. So that's how they looked like when I finished. So you see here this piece wasn't straight. So right now they are looking pretty good, because they are already like 1 or 2 years inside the car. So the heat and everything just made it straight, so it's not a big deal anymore. So you see here how it looks a little bit off, but I've mounted it into the car. Now you see here how they look a little bit strange at beginning, but they are fine now. They are looking a little bit different, so they're not looking like this anymore. But I think for self-made PMD seats, they look pretty good. So that's how they look like a little bit later on. So when everything was in place and could sit for a while, so that's it. So that's the story how I did it. So I didn't show you how I put in the wire inside these grooves, because I didn't have a camera on hand, and I didn't thought it is a big thing that somebody want to go through the hassle and to do it like I did and make it by themselves. So it's just it's not a how-to, it's just I wanted just to tell the story on how I made my own PMD seats. So I hope you liked the story and you did find it a little bit entertaining. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. So you have here a little bit of measurements. So if you want to go through the hassle and do it by yourself, I wouldn't do it again, actually, because once if you are finished with the job, you can't feel your hands anymore. So it is a pain to do it. And these tools here are, it's nice that they supply you with these tools, like they put it into the package and you have tools at all, but they are just a pain to work with. So I'm not used to work with material like this, but I'm very proud that I did the job and I managed to build my own PMD seats. It was a huge project, and maybe in the future I'm able to just exchange the seat cover to the tan color, and then I have to replace the carpet and everything else. But for now, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So here you have all the pictures again. Just look how these foam pieces, they are not 100% even at all, but the seats are now around 2 years inside the car and they're still looking perfect. So it was actually a pretty good job. So you see here how you have to straighten all the material. Sometimes I used high quality zip ties to just mount it all down. So maybe one day they will get loose and it will start to loosen up everything and it doesn't look good anymore. So I have to repeat the job, but I used high quality stuff, so I hoped that it will hold a longer time. And as far as that goes, they are still looking pretty good. So, as I said before, that's the story of the PMD seats. So just a small story, a short story. Like, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below. And next video will be up pretty soon. With the exterior of my kit. I already talked about the interior, so if you haven't seen that video, I link it up in the description. So if you haven't already, please share, like, subscribe, and I see you next time. Keep your scanners peeled. Bye.